short story. This is something that my brother-in-law brought for me from Zambia. It's a 20-in-1 horror movie compilation. I haven't opened it yet, but I have this idea that it might not be what's advertised. Especially since another one that he brought, it had titles of movies that don't even exist. So I'm not too hopeful. But what I am here to tell you today is that not all cheap knockoffs are bad like that one. In medicine, actually, generic drugs are quite a qualitative and valuable alternative to branded medicines. This is an example. You could take a painkiller that's branded, like this Dafalna, or you could take one of these that's a generic and that's half the price, and it's basically as good. And this is important. I mean, my dad, he has to take painkillers every day. If you have to chug Dafalna every day, that would cost him and the taxpayer a lot of money. So this is very, very important. Oh, it's going too fast. Now, there is a widespread disease, and Jelena said it already, diabetes, that has no generic drugs available to it. And that's a problem. Many people don't have access to the medicine because of this. Because it's a data event, I want to do like a small test. Who here knows someone who has diabetes in the room? Yeah, many people, obviously. And is there anybody here who has diabetes themselves, by any chance? No one. Okay. Well, I will give you the numbers anyway if we don't come close to it. 1 in 11 people in the world has diabetes. This is 415 million people, I think. And this will increase by 50%, I think, by 2040. So this is very prevalent. And you might think, well, this is not a problem, it's just diabetes, you just inject some insulin. That's how it's known in Belgium. Diabetes, oh yeah, that's the disease where you stab yourself every day. And that's as far as people go. They call it the sugar. Yeah. Why is insulin not accessible? Well, the high price. Companies are charging a lot. But also in underdeveloped regions and remote areas, supply chains are very, very vulnerable. The supply might disappear at any point. There are no local manufacturers. People are largely left to their fates. Now, the fact that it's so expensive and the fact that people don't have access to it is because of strategies, patent strategies. The companies who are producing it are posing barriers to production and also keeping the prices up. And this is where the idea of open insulin came up. And the goal is very straightforward. We want to develop the first open source protocol to produce insulin simply and economically. It's very straightforward, and we hope this contributes to more accessible insulin. Now, this is not my own idea. The project started 2 years ago in Oakland in the United States. And this year, 2 groups have joined. One in Sydney, and now we are getting started with one in Belgium. So there are citizen scientists and just labs all over the world contributing to this project. How do we produce insulin? Well, in summary, you shove a piece of DNA into a bacteria that tells it to produce insulin. This is the science behind it. In practice, it's of course a bit more complicated than that. And you might think, well, how do you do this? We are not doing this in universities and companies at all. Well, this is because there has been an evolution, a revolution, if you will, in biotechnology, because it's been getting a lot cheaper, allowing people like me to go into basements with more people like me and share lab equipment to do these kinds of things. So I'm one of the initiators of Reagent, which is such a DIY biolab or a biohacker space, and there we can tinker with biology and do this kind of stuff. Now, where is the project at technically? What have they been doing the last 2 years? Well, in these tubes, there is actually the precursor to human insulin. It doesn't actually glow in the dark in your body, of course. This is a marker that was built in to verify if it's actually what we are looking for. So they are actually already able to express, with a good reproduction rate, the precursor to human insulin. Now the next steps are purifying this and extracting it more efficiently and optimizing the genetic code in the bacteria to do this more effectively at the production scale. So, oh, we're going too fast. Very sensitive. Okay, now to take this project even a level further, there are now future plans. This is really still in the planning stage, to really optimize the way that we work with open source technologies. And one of these is generating a lot of possible genetic sequences that we shove into this bacteria with a supercomputer. We will have an enormous amount of data, and then we will verify. We will have to verify like which ones are of a benefit to the production process. And of course, testing all of them, even if there are only a few hundred out of the millions that you generate, it's a lot of work, it's very expensive. So How do we do that? Well, by chance, we got into contact with someone who is developing open source microfluidic devices. Now, what is this? It's basically a miniature lab on a chip. What you are able to do here is manipulate tiny, tiny droplets of chemicals on a chip. And this allows lab work to be automated and to be much less expensive because you need less reagents and less labor in general to operate this. And we hope this will really give the project a boost, and this will be fundamental not only to our project, but to biotech research in general, because everything that you see here is open source, so everybody can build on it. Now, you're probably already wondering, like, yeah, so you're just going to start injecting homebrew biohacked insulin. This is not the goal of the project. The goal of the project is to develop the protocol to produce it. We are very aware that to actually test this, there will be millions of euros probably necessary to do it, but for now we are going to this point and then we will see how to develop it further. It's not hard to imagine, however, for example, homebrewing of insulin, microfactories in underdeveloped regions, or generic insulin manufacturers. But we are not there yet. We are not there yet. And I also want to share this picture with you, which I find beautiful for citizen science, for open science. There's data from Oakland, hopefully soon, chips from Shenzhen, because the chip is being developed in China, and we're going to combine them in Belgium in an open source way. I find this very inspiring. And this is also an invitation to you. If you find this also inspiring, you want to contribute to open science and better access to medicine, please, we can use all the help we can get. Now, this question has probably been on your mind since you started the talk, and I will be very cautious. Enjoy it, but not too much. Thank you.